Hello, everyone. Welcome to Zilanka. I want to start a new series here on Zilanka. I started one playing on my own to try to get used to it a little bit and to test out some of the new root vegetable equipment. And I thought, well, let's start a series where we can put it online for people to see. But I want to focus on the root vegetables. So I've started, instead of starting in the new farmer mode where they give you a farm and everything, I wanted to start on the sort of middle difficulty setting. So we don't have any land, we don't have any equipment. And there's a reason that I did that. This is actually the place you start in new farmer mode, but there's some buildings here, including a grain silo, and you have a couple fields. You have field 53 right over here and 52 right over here. The only problem with that was I didn't really like the starting equipment that you got, and the buildings that made up your farm were like not what I wanted. One of them was like a chicken coop that was otherwise not super useful. One of them was a building you actually could go inside, but it was so small that you couldn't really fit much equipment in there. So there were really no equipment storage buildings. Then you had like your house and a grain silo. The house would be good, obviously, for a place to sleep, and I don't mind the grain silo, but I don't really want to use a grain silo very much because I want to focus on the root vegetables. So that's kind of the plan. We're probably still going to start in this space, but I want to start with. I really want to focus on vegetables. The other problem was, and we'll go in and look at some equipment. But if you go into the vegetable technology section here, in new farmer mode, you start off with I think this harvester. It's a one row vegetable harvester, but it outputs on this belt, if you will. So you have to output into a trailer, or I guess technically you can output directly onto the ground, but then you have to have a way to come back and pick it up. Whereas this one will dump them into a like a box, basically a little pallet box. I don't know why they didn't start you with this one in the first place. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. We are going to start with this one because this is the one that makes the most sense for me to start with. That way, I can drive the harvester and just unload the boxes as needed and then come back and pick them up later. Whereas with this one, I have to hire a worker to drive the harvester and I have to go unload it, which honestly is just less fun. So that's why we're starting the way we are. So we have $1.5 million to get us going, and I want to first look at where are we going to call home. I want to focus on root crops in general. The new root vegetables obviously are going to be the primary focus, but I think given that we got a new production in this premium expansion, I also would like to do some potatoes to take advantage of that, but that will come probably further down the road. So luckily, this start, there seems to be some vegetables right here at the start. So we could still start on this farm where it kind of does normally. When I started this on my own, neither of these fields that I owned were root vegetables, which I found slightly annoying because that's what I wanted to do, and that's what I had equipment to do. A lot of these other fields would not be bad, so we could always start somewhere up in here, but I don't see a lot of land to purchase to where we could build, a barn or anything like that. So I think we'll just start in the same normal starting place right here. That's not very much for that farmland. I am playing with a number of mods on this playthrough. I also have pretty much all of the DLCs, including the Precision Farming DLC. So that's why you see soil types up here. And this is actually not a great field. As far as soil type productivity goes, it's mostly silty clay, which is not great. But that's okay. This gets us the farmyard. So I think we'll go ahead and buy that land. And then that gets us that field right there, which was carrots. And then I want to buy this field back here because it was parsnips. So those two will be able to harvest pretty much right away. I don't really want to do any of the other ones because they're not root crops. Sorry, shouldn't have left. They're not root crops. I don't really want to do any of the arable crops at this point. I really want to focus on the new vegetable root crops. So that one and that one. We got a parsnip field over here we could always buy as well. But those two fields will be a good place to start, I think. That one's already harvested. I guess I should have looked at that first. Oh well. It's already harvested, but we'll still work it. And since this one is ready to harvest right now, I think we'll probably go ahead and buy it. This one's still growing, so it'll be ready to harvest in maybe another month or so. This one has weeds, unfortunately, and they all need plowing. Okay, so there's plenty of work to do. This one's already been harvested, so we'll miss out on that. That's unfortunate. Let's go ahead and buy this. There we go. Now, instead of just immediately selling these vegetables, I really want to get into the productions right away. So what we're going to do is go find, I think, let's see, where's the new productions? Here we go. No, that's a bakery. That's not a new one. Preserved Food Factory. That's one of the new ones. Carpentry is not. Soup Factory. I think I want to do the Soup Factory. There we go. So this one is 135,000. What is the other one? Map. Nope. Farther up. There we go. Preserved Food Factory. This one up here. Which side? This side. Is 110,000. Well, this one is slightly cheaper, so I think we'll go with it first. So I want to purchase this so that we can get right into the production as soon as we have some vegetables to dump in here. So that's set. And then I guess we just need to buy some equipment. And we'll start off with a harvest. So we bought field 31. This field, not ready to harvest yet, but field 31 is, and it's parsnip. So we'll just go ahead and get started with the parsnip harvest on field 31. So let's go here and let's buy some equipment. We're going to buy this pull behind, or 3-point mounted, really, harvester. So that's 40,000 basically. Okay, that needs a 80 horsepower tractor. That's not too big, but some of the other equipment we will need is going to require a bigger tractor. None of this vegetable equipment is particularly this one here, which is your, what's it, Ridger, that requires 160. The planters don't require hardly anything. So we want a tractor that has probably at least 160 from that standpoint. And let's see, what else? Plows. We will need to plow. That plow is 2.5 meters. Yep, and that one requires 160 as well. If we want to go any bigger, we're looking at 220 horsepower. So that's pretty significant. What about cultivators? To get above 4 meters, to get into the 5 meter area, we're looking at 180 horsepower. Disc harrows take a little bit less power, but we're still looking 5 meters, 180 horsepower, or 6 meters, 180 horsepower. So either way, we need a decent sized tractor. We could go into the small tractors, but I think we'll just jump right into the medium tractors and get something that's going to be 180 plus horsepower. Let's see, what can we get? Some of these older ones I like because the price tends to be a little bit lower. I also think it's kind of fun driving the older vehicles. The 4755 here, that's one you start with in Elm Creek, I think. You've got the Valtra there. That's another good one. I do have some mod tractors as well. These are, of course, the new tractors that you can start with here in the premium expansion. That one is actually pretty affordable, so it might not be a bad option. But I do have some mods going on, like the case and some of the fence as well. So, and these are even more affordable. But, you know, I think we'll go with this one because it is brought in with the premium expansion, so we'll give it a try. That gives us 180 horsepower for $100,000. That's not bad. Wheel setup, I think standard is probably fine. Wheel weights, wides, even wider wides, twins, okay, and narrows. So it's got a really good selection of tires. I think we're going to go ahead and go with wheel weights on this one, just to help with, can we do a front loader attacher? Yes, we can. Perfect. So we'll do a front loader attacher because we'll need to lift the pallet boxes. Everything else, I think, can pretty much stay. We don't need the Asaria Pro Compact. I do want to go with GPS because I really like GPS. That's one of the mods that I have in here. Should we do a different brand of wheels? Yeah, we'll go Continental. I like Continental. There we go. Same price. All right, $120,000. We have ourselves a tractor. And we got the harvester already. We'll buy more equipment as it comes up, I think, so that we can go ahead and get right into the work. All right, let's hook up to this guy. Oh, we have manual attach on as well, so we'll have to get out to attach everything. There we go. And we're not going to worry about buying a vegetable box right now because there is an option on this machine to buy a vegetable box like directly from the machine. So I'll show you that once we get to the field and we get set up. Like I said before, I'm not sure why they didn't include... Oh, we should probably lift that up. There we go. I'm not sure why they didn't give you this vegetable harvester right off the bat in the new farmer mode. The other one they did give you, the only difference is that it dumps straight into a trailer, which maybe, I guess, is more convenient. But they also give you, in starting equipment, they give you like a 3-point mounted pallet fork. It's perfect for picking up the boxes, but then they give you the vegetable harvester, the single row vegetable harvester, that doesn't put stuff in boxes. So it was very confusing to me. This seemed like it would have been the one to go with, but I don't know. So right there you can see, right here, that's where the box goes. If we pull up the F1 menu, it'll say load boxes, but then there's an option here for buy new boxes. So we just hit that, buy a box for $130. Yes. There is another harvester. I'll just go ahead and go in here. That uses boxes as well, but it uses 4 of them. So it is this one right here, the GCCI. It uses 4 boxes. So that way you don't have to stop as often to unload the boxes. And again, you can buy the boxes directly from that machine, so you don't have to go buy them separately. Although you can. The load boxes option, if you go ahead and buy the vegetable boxes, you can load them up yourself, which is pretty cool. So let's turn this on, lower it down, and we're going to get going on our harvest. And we just try to line that row up with the machine, and off we go. Don't even need to set GPS up for this one, because all you got to do is drive right down the line. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. There we go. And if you set yourself up correctly, if I move over a little bit more like so, if you moved over even a little further, you can actually get it to harvest 2 rows at a time. Let's see if I can. I had to move over there just to be able to get this outside row. I don't want to run over the crop. There we go. All filled up there. And then we'll just hop back, finish this row out. This is, you know, the sort of downside to harvesters like this, ones that run off to the side, is that you can't just go straight up and down the field. And another reason I thought it was weird that they started you with the one where it requires you essentially to hire a worker to run the harvester while you run a trailer to keep the harvester unloading, because the thing doesn't have any capacity on it. You have to continuously unload it. So unless you're playing in multiplayer with other people, you have to hire a worker and run the trailer yourself. Whereas with this one, you know, I can do this on my own. I'm not required to hire a worker. Using the other one and the trailer would probably be a little bit faster, because I don't have to stop to use or unload the boxes all the time. But even then, it's not that much faster, and it doesn't allow me to run the harvester, which, whenever you have new equipment like this and a harvester is part of it, I feel like, what are people going to want to do? Drive a trailer, which has already been in the game for quite a while and is not new in any way, or drive the harvester, the new harvester? They're going to want to drive the new equipment. So it was a weird choice to me. I'm not really sure why they gave you that starting equipment in New Farmer. So that's why, again, it's part of the reason I made the decision to just not bother with New Farmer mode and to come straight into here. They also start you out with similar equipment as to what you would start New Farmer mode on any other map. You have a combine harvester and, you know, the trailers, the ability to do arable crops and things like that. You do get the equipment you need, the very basic equipment you need to do vegetable stuff, which is good. Obviously, that was to be expected. But they also give you a combine harvester so you can do arable crops as well. And I honestly, at least at the beginning of this series, I want to stay away from arable crops, because arable crops have been in the game since Farming Simulator 2009 or 09, I guess. No, it was 2009, wasn't it? Since the very first Farming Simulator, we've been farming arable crops. And the process of harvesting arable crops just has not changed considerably, even though we are over a decade into the development of Farming Simulator. So I didn't really want to do arable, at least not right away. So we're full now. We have a full box. We unload it. It'll lower it down. Let's see. I probably need to have to back up a little bit. Yeah, because it needs to pull it off the pallet forks. There we go. And if we then hit buy a new box, whoa, yep, we have a new box. And off we go again. So we filled up one box in a little over one round, one time up and back down the field. So this is going to be quite a few boxes to move. The nice part about this is if we could run that box over to the production point and get it started if we wanted to. But I think we'll keep harvesting for a little while at least. So I decided to keep a lot of the mods on for this one. A lot of the mods that I play with, usually when a new expansion comes out, I try to play it with very limited mods. I'll turn on all the DLCs, but I'll leave the mods, most of the mods, off because I want to get the experience of sort of playing the game, the way it was intended, so to speak, without all the mods. But this game is just so good with mods, and the mod availability is one of the biggest selling points to this game for me at least. The base game content is not what you're stuck with for the life of the game, because the modders will come out and create amazing stuff. So I decided to leave it in, and as any relevant mods come up, we'll kind of talk about them, and I'll point out which ones that I'm using. The only ones so far we haven't really used any mods, but there is one precision farming DLC, which is free, so it's kind of like a mod, that is relevant, and it's already having an effect. And if you look down in the little mini map, you can see the colored stripes that are showing up as we harvest the field. That is showing us the yield, and the color-coded bar, red is not good, up through orange and yellow, and then green is very good. So once I get back into the field, you'll be able to see a lot of the field so far that we're harvesting is yellow and orange. And that's because by default, these fields have not had much done to them. Actually, I can just go ahead. We'll pop in and we'll take a look at precision farming after the game saves itself. So this little tab shows up when you have the precision farming DLC enabled. And then you'll also see these scores on the fields. These are, how good of a job you're doing at sort of environmentally friendly practices. The scores, there's 5 scores based on nitrogen, pH value, weed control, soil sampling, and tillage. Our score on this field is not good because we did none of that and we just went right into harvest. And actually we won't see much data on this field in terms of pH, nitrogen, or any of that because we haven't done a soil test yet. But we will be able to see yield. And so you can see as we harvest, we're getting a yield map, which is showing us where the harvest is better and where the harvest is worse. And if we click on these numbers, you can see so far most of what we harvested is in about the 60% yield category. It goes all the way up to 125 though. So if you do your work correctly with precision farming, you can really get some nice harvests, which we will focus on doing that once we have taken care of the first harvest on this field. We'll try to make sure our fields are in better shape. With the carrot field that we have that is not ready to be harvested yet, we might be able to do some of that before harvest time comes around and actually improve our yield. Now we can get back to it. We're going to be dropping off another box very shortly. This reminds me a lot of potatoes or sugar beets, where you are incentivized to get into the bigger harvesters fairly quickly because this takes a considerable amount of time to do this harvest. So unload box. Oh, did I already do it? Why won't it let me do it? It keeps flashing up a message, but I can't see what the message says, so I'm not really sure why it won't let me unload. Do I have to turn... I don't have to turn it off first. This worked perfectly. Do I have to lower it first? Unload box. There we go. Yep, you gotta have it lowered. Okay. So there we go. Buy a new box. And off we go for another round. I'm going to go along this side, give us a little bit more room here. But otherwise, I think what I'll do, because you can see this is going to take quite some time, is I will start to time-lapse a bit of this harvest so we can get through it a little quicker. You can imagine we've done 2 or 3 rows. I think we did our 3rd row on that side. So yeah, it's going to take a while. Alright, welcome back. Just before we finish up this episode, there's a couple things I want to do. Number one, we're going to finish off this box. And number two, I want to get the production going on that, what do we do? The preserved food factory. So, we're going to go get a front loader on this tractor, and we're going to start loading these boxes up and take them over to the preserved food factory so that we can actually get it running. One thing I have noticed about some of these factories, well, the productions in general, they obviously take time to run. So right now we're playing at real-time speed, just 1x. You know, it's going to take a while for anything to really be accomplished by that production facility. So we might as well get it going as early as we can. I will show you a mod here real quick. It's one of my favorite mods of FS22. It's called the Time Saving Stock Check, I think is the full name of it. Oh, we almost filled that box up right there. Just a little while down this row and we should be full. There we go. Okay, so this time-saving stock check. Let me unload this box real quick and I'll show it to you guys. I have not been keeping track of how many pallets worth of parsnips I have. And of course I could go count the pallets. But with the time-saving stock check, I can also, knowing that each pallet is 2,000 liters of parsnips, I can just go in here real quick, that little icon right there, time-saving stock check, and it will tell me I have 8 pallets. And it will show you the current best price as $247, and it will show you the value of those parsnips at that current best price. But then it will also show you the max value, or the max price. So right now it's $247, but it could go up to $360. And by the way, this max price is like a theoretical max price. I have actually seen prices go above this, but basically you can take this as like roughly the max price. What would the max value be? So what would the value be of this at that price? So right now I could get about $4,000 by selling in Erlengrot. If I wait until January, I could get almost $6,000. So it's a really nice mod, but that also lets me know how many pallets I have. It can let you know how many bales you have. If you know how many liters of whatever material are in a bale, you can do the math real quick to let you know how much you have. But in general, it just gives you a good idea of how much potential money do you have, and is it worth waiting to sell it at the best time, or can you just go ahead and sell it now? As you can see by the progress we made on that field, vegetable root harvesting is a slow process. So this is going to take a while. There will probably have to be some work done off screen, otherwise it's going to take us forever to get anywhere in this series. But nonetheless, you sort of get what's going on. And I don't want to cut too much out because this is the new stuff. This is what was brought in with the premium expansion. So we'll go ahead and grab ourselves a front loader. I bought this front loader attacher because I always do. I did do 180 horsepower, but I feel like this front loader is better for this tractor. So we're going to get that. We want pallet forks for it. So front loader tools, pallet fork. Okay, and we need something to put these on. And there is a new vehicle that comes along with the premium expansion. Is it in here or is it in trucks? No, here it is right here. This guy. I don't know that we'll be able to get 8 pallets on there, but we can at least put some pallets in this guy, and it keeps us from having to use our tractor to transport everything. I do have some mods in here that we could use for this as well, but since this is the new one in premium expansion, I think we'll go for it. Do we want to put fancy wheels on it? No. It's a farm truck. We don't want to put fancy wheels on it. But we can paint it. No, that doesn't look quite right. Somehow that looks better. There we go. That just feels like the right color. All right, $20,500 because it costs us $1,000 to paint the thing. Oh well. Let's go get our front loader loaded up. I think maybe we'll be able to fit like 2 pallets on that truck. We may end up having to buy a trailer in order to actually move any decent amount of product. Okay, front loader, pallet fork. I'll see you back at the field. Alright, so here we are back at the field. I got this guy set up, tailgate open. We're going to go load up some pallets. I'm going to see if I can get more than 2. Go. Down lower. There we go. And with that big old vegetable harvester on the back, that should give us a nice counterweight. Plus the wheel weights that we put on are helping with that as well. Now, will these even fit in the back of this truck? Good question. Don't know. Barely. I mean, it is like a glove. Okay, there's 1 pallet. The tractor also moves that truck quite easily, just with the pallet fork catching on it and things. I feel like a tractor should not move a truck quite that easily, but maybe I'm wrong. Lower. One thing I've never been able to get right in this game is being able to work the front loader tools, really from either view. Even in first person view, it's not the best. It can be a little difficult to tell when your forks are level, things like that. In FS19, there was a really nice mod that showed you like the angle that your front loader tool was at. It was really good for buckets and pallet forks and things like that. But I haven't seen it come out for 22 yet, and 22's been out for 2 years. So if it hasn't come out yet, I don't know that we're getting it. It was really nice though. It was like tool display or something like that. Really nice. Made doing all the front loading work, or really any type of front loader, bucket, any of that, was really much easier. You could do it in first person view quite easily. You knew when your tool was level and all that. It's one thing you just don't get in the game is a really good sense of depth. Alright, there's 2 pallets in. That looks very full. So I think what we're going to do, and because I want to get this production running, is we're going to go ahead and strap those guys in. Oh, that should be able to go further forward than that. I don't think we'd be able to get a third one on there anyway, though. Let's just take it as is. We're going to take this over to the processed food factory and get the production working. So here's the inside of the truck. Let me turn on... Whoa, that didn't do what I wanted it to do. There we go. There's the inside of this truck. It looks pretty nice. Standard transmission, radio, old radio, but nice interior on this truck. I like it. Okay, to the processed food or preserved food factory. I'm not sure how to get there. I think we want to be on this main road, though. So I know we did have 8 pallets, or 8 vegetable boxes, I guess I think is what it calls these. But, so with this thing, it's going to take 4 trips to get it. Those vegetable boxes, when they're on the harvester, they look fairly small. But you put them in this truck, and they look pretty big. Hopefully they don't try to sell here, because we're driving through a trigger. I'm not sure what production that is. The bakery, maybe. So they probably would not take parsnips, but... And I think right up here on our right is our preserved food factory. This will get our production going so that we can hopefully start to get some product in. Not there. Here. And start making some money off of this harvest. One thing I do know from having played a little bit is that when you sell these, I'm going to go ahead and unstrap them. When you sell these, it does automatically sell the boxes. There's nothing you can do about it. So those 2 boxes sold. It says up in my upper right-hand corner here, $230 in sold product. That was not parsnips at all. That was the boxes themselves. It costs $130 to buy one of those boxes. You get $230 back when you sell it. I don't know why you get more for selling it than when you buy it. It seems like it should be the same to me. You're really just using the box, but that's the way it is. Now that we have parsnips in here, I want to go ahead and activate the preserved food parsnip production chain. You can see it's going to turn 100 parsnips into 60 preserved food parsnips, and this does 240 cycles per month. What that means is it's going to go through 24,000 parsnips per month. So it does actually work pretty fast. So let's go ahead and activate that. Boom, and it's going. It also does cost us $96 per month. So that is there. And there we go. We already got 1 liter. Now, these are also 2,000 liter pallets on the output side. So it will not output a pallet until we get 2,000 liters of preserved parsnips. So it'll take a little while. But that's okay. That's episode number 1. We got our first field of parsnips partially harvested. And by partially, I mean maybe like 10%. It's going to take a while. But we also got the parsnips working in the production chain. We already have 6 more pallets worth of parsnips, 12,000 liters that we could take over to our production facility and get it up and running, which we will probably do, but I might do that off screen. And then we'll be back to harvest the rest of the field, which is going to take, I don't know, what do you think? I think we maybe have 1/8 of the field done so far, so it's going to take a little while longer. Anyway, thanks you guys for watching. This is the new premium expansion for Farming Simulator 22 on the Sri Lanka map, and we're focusing on our vegetable production. So I hope you guys enjoy. If you do, give me a like. Think about subscribing. That way you don't miss out on the content when it comes out, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.